Good evening, Rusk enjoyers. Hope you're doing right, 'cause it's time for the profit review. Last week we discussed the January 9, 2025 Rust store, and that means today we're here to discuss January 16. So sit back and relax and start yapping. But before I do, some of you might be new to this, you probably don't understand what profit review is. Well, I'll quickly explain right now. The focus of the video is basically, with every single Rust store that we see, I will return to it 4 weeks later, just to see how everything turned out. Did everything match up to our expectations? And if not, I have to sit here and explain why. And of course, with every single Rust store that we see, I'm always making considerations for what potentially would be the best investments for the week. So, was I correct? And if I was wrong, you can hold me accountable. You can comment below. And of course, we'll keep an eye out for what the total sales were, the night before the Rust store rotates. We'll look at the abnormal barders as well. So, of course, let's now hop in and discuss my initial thoughts, my initial reaction when I first saw all of these skins. So, okay, overall, this was actually a very interesting looking Rust store, some very interesting looking skins, some interesting looking collection continuations. Very surprised to see Ultramarine Tier 2 being accepted. That was in the workshop for like 5 weeks. Okay, fair enough. They decided to pick it out. They must really like the Ultramarine collection. So you may recall we had the Tier 3. Well, now we've got the Tier 2. So on the horizon, potentially, we could probably see some hoodie and pants. Well then, that's something to look forward to. A complete collection of Ultramarine. Well, for clothing and armour at the very least. And then I was looking at this interesting looking AK-47. That is, that's unique. I don't think I've ever seen like a design like this before. That's looking very interesting. But what was it selling at? $3.49? Oh, we've been here before, haven't we? You may recall back in 2024, we had a lot of AK-47s selling for like $3 or $3.49, and pretty much every single one of them went down to like $1. So that was a bit of an awkward thing to look forward to, I guess. But could that be different? It was a very unique design. Surely it could still work out quite nicely. ISI collection kind of return. Like, I mean, the way I've said it a little bit awkwardly, but yeah. If I can recall, this was a fairly recent resubmission, and behold, it got accepted then, because that was actually originally submitted quite some time back in September. Wow. No, I got that wrong. July. That's even further back. So, okay, yeah, that's pretty cool to see. But didn't we just have a very cool looking garage door like a week or so before? As I click and take a look over to here, you may recall that we had the Mystic Tree garage door. And immediately I was getting a little bit concerned about, well, garage doors in general. Last year we got a lot of them, Twitch drops included, and things weren't exactly great for those garage doors that were in Rust stores. Many of them went down in price. And right now, you can even see it ain't looking very good either. So, could 2025 end up in the exact same way? Loads of garage doors being accepted in Rust stores, loads of garage doors being given away as Twitch drops. Because if that is the case, I worry for that. And with all the previous skins in this ISI collection, they haven't really held up very nicely. And of course, it had been like 3 or 4 months. So of course, we see a Bombshell backpack. Oh, okay. Basically, the point was we got a Bombshell skin being accepted. This is a guaranteed thing to happen every 3 to 4 months because, of course, it's a TGG skin. Every single week he is curating the skins, making sure they have the quality standard to be accepted into Rust, and then he has his top picks list. That is then sent to Facepunch themselves, and that is usually where they'll pick the skins for the Rust stores. So this is a thank you. Every 3 to 4 months we are expecting a Bombshell skin, and he chose to do a backpack. How many backpacks did we have? I've completely forgot. Oh, there we go. A lot. So we were on a hot streak of constant backpack skins every single Rust store. Could this be the end, or is it just going to continue? Well, it doesn't look like it's going to stop. However, this was the first green backpack. Just want to quickly get this out there. That was interesting, but then again, the default backpack is green anyway. Oh, okay. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Well, would people even want to skin it if it's already green? Now you get it. So that was definitely something we were immediately considering. And then over to here, oh look, Black Diamond Collection that has deplorables. Yeah, apparently. Now that was in the workshop for 6 weeks. So yeah, we had some late picks this week. But okay, a sleeping bag that doesn't glow in the dark, but it's pure black so you can't see it at night time. Interesting. Okay, then we'll take that into consideration. And then Sunken Devil Door. Wait, what? Didn't we have a Sunken Door before? Yeah. Back in the summer of 2023, that was a very random but interesting looking collection continuation. But that sheet metal door did not do very nicely in the past. No, it did not. Could the sheet metal double door potentially suffer? Or would it end up like most double doors where it, just ends up perfectly fine, just retains value? Well, we'll have to wait and see. Okay, so of course we also had some weapons as well. And I'll talk more about them in a bit. But let's now talk about how things progressed with making considerations for what potentially was the best investment for the week. So when I'm doing my predictions video, it's usually a good few hours after the Rustle has rotated. And I'm looking, so over to here we go. Take a look at this. And that AK was cruising ahead with sales. That was looking very good. The sleeping bag was following suit quite nicely. And the backpack was actually selling quite nicely as well. I was kind of surprised by that. Again, at the end of the day, did you really need to skin a green backpack? Another green texture? But hey, there was clearly interest. So I was looking at all the skins. And the very first thing that I was going to talk about was Ultramarine. Because as I basically pointed out, wow, we already have the tier 3. We now have the tier 2. And when that tier 2 arrived, that tier 3 armor just went spiked in demand, spiked in price. Very cool. So, of course, now we're hoping to see potentially in the future some boots and gloves or some hoodie and pants. And then it's complete. And then everybody's happy. And then those tier 2 pieces spike in demand, spike in price as well. So lots of potential optimism, but was it actually going to happen? But I was kind of like feeling fairly confident because Facepunch pulled that out from being in the workshop for 6 weeks. It's in there for 6 or so weeks. Now, that was 5 weeks. The sleeping bag was 6 weeks. Either way, a long time. It was an extra late pick. So clearly they cared about it. Clearly they want more of it. And hopefully they will keep that tune and want to accept some Ultramarine clothing and armor skins in the future. So yeah, it was definitely looking very promising. Now, the next thing I was looking at was making considerations. I went and looked at the sunken double door. Because, like I said, all these sheet metal double doors throughout all of 2024, no matter how many we got, they still mostly worked out perfectly fine. Only the holiday theme ones were struggling. So, alright, fair enough. Maybe the sunken double door was going to be perfectly fine, reasonably okay. Again, it might dip in price a fair bit, but, during the summer, could it progress ever so nicely? And another interesting detail was you could clearly see, because you can't even see it on the screen, it wasn't exactly the most bought skin out of all the skins initially. So I was thinking, hang on a minute, maybe a Shellac sales could work out ever so nicely for it. Then looking at all the other skins, I made considerations. I looked at the sleeping bag and I thought, you know what? If we are going to see more Black Diamond skins, and I do expect that to happen, I was like, well, I guess we'll be seeing some deplorables from here now. Large box, small box, lockers, you name it. Because the collection is pretty much well established with all the clothing and armour. You got some decent weapons here. I would expect more weapons eventually as well in 2025. Bear Trip, the skin creator, he is very consistent. He's always putting out ever so lovely looking works. And I was expecting at least maybe 3 or 4 more Black Diamond skins this year. I was hoping at least to see some interesting more deplorables being produced. But at the very least, overall, it is a fairly in-demand collection. And during January, pretty much every single skin here was in the positive. So that looked to be in a very comfortable spot. And I would expect more potentially for it in the future. So that was looking promising as well. Looking at the remaining skins, I did look at the backpack. I thought, you know what, it is selling quite a lot. People do seem to care about it. And I don't think we'll be seeing another green backpack anytime soon. But then again, the backpack it's already green. It's already green. So what gives? Well, surely it could just work out nicely as a fun little extra thing. Plus, Bombshell is a fairly complete collection because over the many, many months, it's been consistent in getting acceptances. So you got all the clothing and armor there, you got some deplorables, you got some cool looking weapons. Weapons not exactly in demand compared to the deplorables and the clothing and armor. Point still remains though, this had a full set to go with. And it was mostly green, and that's enough for people to want to buy it because, all these green clothing and armor pieces, got to grab it because I want to be hidden in the forest. It's not the best option, but it's the most affordable probably. Well, actually that goes to, as we would know it, it would be flashbacks, wouldn't it? But then again, that's not a full set, so. But yeah, people do appreciate the green clothing and armour, and technically speaking, that is a green backpack, which is, I guess, clothing and armour. Anyway, you can debate that as much as you want. I was very conflicted about how I wanted to approach it, but I at least acknowledged that there was demand for it. Cool. Then looking at the remaining skins, well, with the garage door, interesting, but I was worried about seeing potentially a lot more garage doors in the future, Twitch drops included and whatnot, so wasn't 100% sure. Also, as I said, the Eyesight collection back in January wasn't exactly holding up super great, including the door, sold at $2.49, sitting at around $1. So yeah. And then it came to the AK. So this was a very interesting looking design, as I've already said already, but very unique. Could we see more of this? Could we see more of Deep Ruby? This was a version 2, and at that specific time, I was fully well aware that another skin had been produced, another weapon skin, so it looked promising that this could develop into a much bigger collection. Okay, that's interesting. But, $3.49. If I could just quickly remind you of 2024, with the amount of AKs that we got, 45. Yes, I've memorised that because I've had to bring it up so much over the course of 2025. Yes, in 2024, 45 AK-47s, so many Twitch drops. We've had a lot right now as well. Point remains is that so many of these AKs usually sold for the standard $1.99 price, but there's quite a lot of them selling at $2.99 or $3.49, and near enough every single one of them dropped off real bad. Shining Edge AK-47, $3.97 now. And then we have the Steampunk AK-47, $2.99, 89 cents now. Bird of Luck, $2.99, 87 cents. So, yeah, I could go all the way down over to here. I definitely would have mentioned the El Diablo AK-47. A very cool looking design, very interesting, lovely looking display of the Diablo design right there. There's effectively a proper collection of it as well. Many weapons, deplorables and whatnot. It's gone all the way down to 96 cents. It wasn't enough. So at the end of the day, the point I'm trying to get across is, looks cool, but are we actually going to see it work out quite nicely? Because it was looking like it was selling quite a fair bit. Obviously, with the first initial few hours, I wasn't going to get a concrete idea of how much it was going to sell by next Thursday. But, yeah, AK-47 says investments. Yeah, so I was hesitant, but it was abnormal. So I could at least wait until Wednesday and see how I was going to approach it by then. Cool. Then we had these weapons here. So Starry Dream, perfectly fine looking design. I know a lot of people would appreciate that, but SAR skins in general, especially during post-Christmas, they just weren't really holding up very nicely. Not many of them were in the positive. Ooh, no. So I wasn't feeling confident in that, unfortunately. We had the crossbow here. I had to keep this into consideration. Just around the corner in February for February Force Wipe, we're going to have the primitive update. And I was like, well, last year in 2024, we only got 3 crossbows in total. Yeah, very surprising, 3 crossbow skins. Are we going to see, like, crossbows and bow skins becoming a lot more popular with the primitive update? You're not going to have guns. So, in theory, there's going to be a lot more usage of crossbows and bows, and with more usage, more justification to own skins and use them. And this had, like, a little bit of transparency. It's not super useful. It's nothing like the cargo heli. But could people appreciate that still and whatnot? I was a bit conflicted. By default, I'd assumed, you know what, crossbows, the cheapest ones are usually like $1.30. They don't go all the way down to $1 and less. So I could at least do a smart buy order. But I wasn't sure if that was actually going to hold up. But with the information I've just passed on to you right there, that is what we were thinking. But, yeah, was it actually going to work out nicely? And then we had a very interesting reflector python. So in the past we've had the blackout python with a transparent aim sight, very useful. People have been appreciating it to this day, and it's still quite nicely in the positive, about $10 at the moment. And then about half a year ago we had the redemption python, the exact same style of aim sight, just of course with the cranberry red design. Oh, so nice, oh, so lovely. But this right here almost was similar. It's only got some slight curved transparency in the sides here. So we were considering, is that enough? Is that helpful? And I was basically in the position of, I don't think so. And then we took one quick look at all the pythons in post-Christmas January time, I should point out. All of them were in the negative, unfortunately. And then, of course, the ones before that and the year before that. Oh, look, there's the blackout python. Yeah, point made. They don't seem to be very in demand. Oh, no. So, yeah, a fairly straightforward looking Rustor, perhaps. Was I correct? Well, we should now talk about what the first 24 hours of sales look like. Right, so here we are, first 24 hours of sales, and that AK, yep, it was showing promise, and it was proving it. Over 11,000 subscribers. So, when I first saw that, I was like, yeah, that's easily doing over 20,000 subscribers. Maybe even 25. At $3.49, that was surprising. That was interesting. So, okay, fair enough. The sleeping bag was following suit reasonably well. People seemed to feel comfortable with that being part of a well-established collection, a cool-looking design. Well, it was doing very nicely as well. So that was going to probably do some very comfortable sales. The garage door just a little bit behind. Kind of surprised by that, but also quite cautious. So the backpack, it was doing all right. Not too crazy. Was still kind of surprised it was selling that much. As I said, it's already green, but hey, clearly people like it, so all right, fair enough. The weapons kind of matched up to what I was expecting. I was very surprised to see that Tier 2 armor only selling about 5,000 subscribers, though. And I'm under the impression, because I do recall a lot of people were, misguided, I guess you could say. Some people must have said it glowed in the dark. Like, of course, the deplorables do, but not the Tier 3 armor and not the Tier 2 armor. So I don't know what was going on. But yeah, it seems that was like a bit of a thing that was happening. So maybe people just didn't want to go near it under that unfortunate bit of misinformation. So, all right. it was lining up fairly okay with the tier 3 armor sales. It looked like it was going to not sell too ridiculously, and so as long as it aligns quite nicely with the overall sales of the tier 3, overall it should work out nicely. And of course, boots and gloves, hoodie and pants, if that comes out, spiked in demand. And with that arriving, yes, over the course of that weekend, that tier 3 armor went up in price ever so nicely. And then we have the sunken double door. Well, you did not sell that much at all. And that was making it appear to be quite a lot more promising based on the fact that, well, with a sheer lack of sales, if things do work out quite nicely, if we see some more sunken deployables, that very likely could rise up in price ever so nicely. And I don't expect that many listings on the Steam market either. So, okay, that's looking promising. So let's now hop over to here and take a look at the abnormal barders. So, of course, this is the night before the Rustor rotates, and that AK ended up getting like a second wind. I don't know what was going on. But that's sitting there Wednesday night with almost 28,000 subscribers. What? Now, need I remind you, $3.49. So I was very surprised and even more cautious now. That felt like it was a little bit too much. So I was like, oh dear, oh dear. The sleeper bag, kind of doing very impressive. Like, it was sitting there at 18,500 subscribers. All right, fair enough. All these other skins here, reasonable. The tier 2 still, it still managed to eclipse the tier 3 armor with sales like by about 1,000, but it was still close enough. It wasn't ridiculously more compared to the tier 3 armor, so that seemed okay. And of course, eventually, if we see those continuations, it'll be good. And that sunken double door there, just about 10,000 subscribers. That's nothing. So, all right, things were looking pretty interesting. So on the night when we did the abnormal barders, what prices did I suggest? So like I said, with almost, I guess you could say if you were to generalise, almost 30,000 subscribers for that AK at $3.49, I was worrying. By default with the price, of course, but now with the amount in circulation, yeah. So I was looking at it and I thought, you know what? I could see some people still appreciate it. I could see some people still liking it and wanting to use it. And I could foresee continuations being made, but I had to be well aware that we're about to go through like Lunar New Year and Valentine's. Maybe that might cause issues, and of course, maybe some special looking AKs might be accepted. So I went with $1.50 to $2. I thought, you know what? I think it's going to do okay enough to maintain some price, but I do expect it to drop off. I do expect that to happen. All right, fair enough. Black Diamond sleeping bag, I went with $1.20 to $1.80. For a $2.49 skin, I was like, well, you know, Easter's just around the corner. The low point is expected to be around March, April time. I was a fair bit worried. I thought, okay, we're probably not going to see a Black Diamond skin for a while. Bad Trip, the skin creator, he juggles a lot of collections like Black Gold, No Mercy. So we're probably going to wait a while until we see another sequel actually being accepted. So I was like, okay, yeah, I'll probably do $1.20 to $1.80. Maybe it drops off. Maybe it goes down only by like maybe 30 cents or so. But with that price, with that barder, I should still pick up a fairly decent amount of them. With the eyesight garage door, I just didn't have any faith in it. I was very worried that we were going to be seeing a lot more garage doors, and eyesight collection just really didn't look that very promising. So I just went safe. I went with 80 cents to $1.20, half the price it sold for at $2.49 there. So, yeah, again, no faith, no confidence. Bombshell backpack. So I didn't get it. People seem to actually want to buy it and whatnot. But I was like, with this streak of backpacks being accepted over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, I was like, you know what? I think I will play it safe. Now, I also had to give you some extra context. During this post-Christmas, remember the No Mercy backpack? Remember how that sold a lot because people really did appreciate it when it first appeared? But I warned everybody, I was like, these sales are a little bit too ridiculous. It was down in price during post-Christmas, and it was still going down. So I was like, oh no, that's like a bad omen there. It was starting to become noticeable that a lot of these backpacks were going down in price. And, well, that's a telltale sign of far too many of them were being accepted. So, whilst that seemed to be okay at the moment, what was it going to look like in the future? So, right, fair enough. I played it safe there. Ultramarine kilt specifically, as you can see there, it's sitting at $1.99. I said, guys, I feel confident. Listen, we might not see the hoodie and pants being accepted or boots and gloves. Right, fair enough. But still, I could see that kilt at the very least maintaining its price and potentially going up in the positive when times are good. But I still felt I really did feel confident we would see a collection continuation being produced. It's just a matter of will it be accepted? Would it be quick or would it be long? Remember, that was in the workshop for 5 weeks. Maybe we have to wait that amount of time again to see a sequel. So take that into consideration. But yeah, Usually with a full set of clothing and armour, the kilt is usually the most expensive. It's the only leg armour that we have, and, well, they just tend to work out better compared to all the other pieces. So, okay, right, yeah. And it sold just about the same amount as the tier 3, so I was happy. And I'll tell you what, I even bought 50 of them. During post-Christmas, of course, I was selling a lot of skins, and now, of course, needed to keep buying things to keep selling things. So I went and bought 50 of those. I thought, in the future, I foresee Ultramarine becoming a full clothing and armour set, and I can foresee that rising up in price ever so nicely because of it. So yeah, that's what I did. Now, for the Ultramarine helmet and the Ultramarine vest, I went with $1, no, 80 cents to $1. That was a little bit different. So the vest was selling at $1.99, but the helmet was selling at $1.49. But for both of them still, I could see them dropping off. Usually the other tier 2 pieces of armour, they drop down a fair bit more compared to the kilt. It's unfortunate, but it does happen. But usually with a full collection, it still usually works out quite nicely. I just didn't know when we were going to see the Ultramarine hoodie and pants or boots and gloves. And when people have to wait, they tend to, they get a little impatient and then they start dumping. So I could see it going down in price, unfortunately. But that is a behaviour I tend to see quite a lot. So that's what I went with. Now, for the sunken double door, I thought, well, that's actually very impressive. Selling at $2.49, didn't sell too ridiculously. I thought, you know what? I could probably do $1.20 to $1.80. Now, if it didn't sell so very little, I probably would have offered a little bit less. But, yeah, it sold very little. I could foresee the future of more sunken doors being produced, so I went up a little bit more. Yes, it might be a little bit too low, but I didn't think it would go down too badly. If we go down pretty badly during the March-April period, the Easter dip, I did remember how low some of the skins did cheap in the double doors during the autumn-fall seasonal dip, remember? It is September, October, November. But they only went down to like negative 20%, and negative 20% would be $2. So, yeah, close to $2, $1.80 makes sense. So, yeah, cool. A bit weird how I said that, but you understand what I'm trying to say. Now, that reflector python, yes, it had interesting aim sight, but it wasn't helpful. It was only slightly, it was cosmetic. Looked nice, but So, based on what I was looking at with all the pythons, I went with 60 cents to 80 cents. Didn't trust it, wasn't confident. Lowball price, played it safe. And same thing with the Starry Dream SAR. It sold comfortably with almost 15,000 subscribers at that specific point, but SARs during January just didn't really go up in price. Only a couple, and that was it. So no faith, no confidence, low buyer price. I can't get all the words out, sorry. All right, and then we had the Chomp crossbow. So yeah, it really didn't look like it was going to be working out super crazy. I mean, the low sales was definitely an indicator that people didn't care enough. And as I said earlier, with the lowest priced crossbow selling for around $1.30, you could do better than what you'd normally do for a lowball price for a weapon skin. So instead of 60 cents to 80 cents, I instead suggested 80 cents to $1.10. Yep. Now, just to clarify, the Starry Dream SAR and the Chomp crossbow, they were not abnormal. That's why they are last. Sorry about that. So, okay, just clarified that. Now, let's go back over to here and take a look at the current day sales, or rather the current day prices and whatnot, and discuss how did everything turn out. Deep Ruby AK-47. So, what happened? Why is it halved in price? Well, of course, as I said, AK-47s as investments, risky, and doesn't always work out very nicely. But this is what it's currently at now, all right? It's gone down a price, but there's still some good barders there. And if we do end up seeing some more Deep Ruby skins, which hasn't really been a thing, I should point this out. So, why not? He's been producing other stuff and whatnot. Oh, no, he hasn't. Oh, wow, I'm pretty sure he was. Maybe he's taking a break. Maybe I've confused him with someone else. Regardless, you can see there was a SAR there. But he's disappeared for a bit, it seems. I do hope he comes back, because I want to see more. That SAR could still potentially be picked out in an upcoming rush store. It could happen, maybe. But yeah, he's disappeared for a bit. Who knows what's happened? Maybe he's ill or something. But that AK. Quite a lot of new AKs will immediately drop off in price. That's true. Even the ones that work out nicely eventually in the future. So, yeah. It's going down in price now. It'll probably reach a rock bottom price at some point around March, April time. But afterwards, as we go through the lovely summertime, it should probably work out quite nicely. So, yes, it's down now. And my suggestion was $1.50 to $2. So if you did a barter around there, congratulations, you picked up a bunch of these at a cheaper price. I was one of them. I got dumped on. I ended up buying about 30 at $2. I was like, ugh. So I removed it. Yeah. because I thought it was going to probably go down a little bit lower, but it has slowed itself down. And when you actually look at the amount of like listings here, it's not that much. It's very thin. And in fact, half the listings are above $3. So a few sales and it goes back up to around its rush door price again. All right, that's fair enough. But my price suggestion did seem to work out quite nicely, maybe a little bit too successfully. So if you consider that a bad thing, all right, fair enough. But I do look more towards the future, and I do think I'll be able to flip these for a decent bit of profit. I do hope the skin crate does return. Right, let's move on to the next skin then. So over to here, we have the sleeping bag. So this was funny. Yes, it did over 19,000 subscribers, and for a reasonable amount of time, it was doing a very good job of maintaining its price. It was basically evens for a good solid couple of weeks, but then something very strange happened. They went and accepted another sleeping bag that was black and didn't glow in the dark. We had the night sleeping bag selling in the rush store at $2. So he's sitting there right now on the Steam market, nice and in the positive, and this one suffered because of it. But if you could just quickly take a look, you might notice that that's only got 47 listings on the Steam market. Interesting. Yes, it's dipped down a price now, but in the future, hopefully things they do work out nicely in the future. Like, as I said, if we do see another collection continuation of some sort, all right, fair enough. And the actual listings, very thin. 10, 15 sales, back to normal. Do you reckon that'll be very hard for it to do? How many sales have happened today so far? 36. So I don't think it's that bad. This potentially might be its lowest price ever. Maybe. We shall see. But yeah, wait until around the summertime. Boom. Back up to good prices again and probably potentially going to do even better. So, all right. Got to stay optimistic reasonably. Maybe. Very well then. No need to worry. Let's move on. Let's talk about the iSi garage door. So what was it? 80 cents to $1.20 I suggested. And well, it's currently sitting here at $1.40 and the highest bar is sitting here just about $1.10. So yeah, that doesn't look like it'll be going below $1 for a while. So as long as that guy stays there, we shall see. But yeah, I didn't have that much confidence in it. And yeah, that basically matched up to what I was expecting. The 80 cents to $1.20 buy order suggestion seems to have been perfectly fine, although if you did have a $1.20 buy order, you probably did buy a bunch of these. Yeah. And you know what? I should ask, did you buy anything from this rush store, whether it was with buy orders or straight purchases? Feel free to comment below. I'd love to read it. Overall, yeah, that was just basically expected. No confidence, and the result basically matched up perfectly there. But with the backpack, if you can recall, I wasn't 100% confident with this, but look at it now. It's actually doing very good. So if I could just look over to here to the buy orders, it seems to slowly start to climb up higher and higher, because the big fat batch right there, 80 cents. But then you have one here at 90 cents, and it starts to climb up 97 cents, $1.05, $1.35. It's not doing badly, and people actually seem to want it and appreciate it. I was wrong. Yeah. I wasn't 100% confident. I wasn't sure. That's the best thing I could say. But yeah, I felt like I'm wrong here. Yeah, I think you can laugh at me. Did you buy some of these? Do you appreciate it? Do you see any of them actually being used in game? Did it just not sell that much? Are people just not listing enough? Hey, I can't answer. So overall, yeah, I suggested a lowball price, and I don't think I'll be buying any of them for a while. We'll see. Maybe it drops off a little bit more once we reach April time, but yeah, I was wrong. Okay, well, I'm sorry about that. Did you still manage to get some for yourself? Comment below. Now, with the Starry Dream SAR, I mean, yeah, it seems to be holding up quite nicely. And again, I suggested a lowball price. If you actually look at the actual sales here, so if I hide liquidity, you can see that these are actually selling for around and below $1. So whilst the listing here is obviously sitting here at $1.40, it doesn't look like these $1.40 ones are actually getting bought. People are just selling to the highest buy order. So my suggestion of 60 cents to 80 cents was actually correct. Again, you have to actually read and see what the sales are. But could it recover? Could it do better? Because technically speaking, this is actually a collection continuation. I never actually brought that up. But even the AK, which of course came out before this, that's not really doing that much better either. So, weapon-only collection, and unfortunately, both AKs and SARs, not the best, of investments. But at the end of the day, if you bought a skin because you like it, you can't go wrong. You're happy, hopefully. Right, moving on, Ultramarine. So, as I said, the Ultramarine Tier 2 appears to have sold just about the same amount as the Tier 3. So, 12,000, 13,000, 12,000, but both the Tier 3 pieces, 10,600. Yes, it's about 2,000 more compared to that, but it's not like 10,000 more. It's not like 5,000 more. It's close enough. That kilt, that worked out perfectly fine. That helmet, that vest, but remember that sold at $1.49. That sold at $1.99. So my price suggestion of 80 cents to $1.20 for both of these, that was actually perfectly fine. Yeah, you're probably picking up a bunch of them right now. But I also can confirm to you, hoodie and pants were submitted. They just weren't accepted. We've had Valentine's in the way and Lunar New Year in the way, so that happened. But there is Ultramarine, and you can even see the skin creators now also having to point out it doesn't glow. People keep asking. So, yeah, will that ever appear? I mean, in about a week or two's time, it'll be 5 weeks after it was submitted. I'm just saying, so as of now, the suggested prices seems to have worked out okay, but yeah. Right then, so what that one was actually 80 cents to $1, and that was 80 cents to $1.20. Well, let's just quickly take a look at this as well. Yeah, the barders are still there. Yeah, okay, no, fair enough. Did you pick up any of these for the barder? Feel free to comment below. But now we want to talk about the kilt, of course. So let's go over to here. Let's get a good look at you. Because I bought 50 of these. And whilst it is in the positive, it's not profitable. You would only lose a few pennies per sale. But right now it's what, February? Soon we're going to be entering March and April. Like, there's only 29 listings. It's very thin. That can easily climb back up in price. Oh, what might cause people to want to buy this out? Hoodie and pants, boots and gloves. We shall see. It's potentially going to happen, and I'm looking forward to it because I feel confident. Those barders are still there. We suggested going all the way up to $1.70, didn't we? Well, there it is. It's still there. It still exists. And yeah, did you happen to buy any for yourself? Because everything's lining up reasonably there. We just got to hope it actually happens. So come on now, give it to me, give it to me, give it to me. Right, so yeah, optimistic still. Everything's matched up to expectations there. Now, here we have the Sunken Double Door. It's kind of dipping up and down. It's a bit odd, but yeah. Sitting here at $2.88. Earlier, it was less than that. But there's only got 20 listings. A sheer lack of sales led to a sheer lack of listings. That doesn't really look like it's going to suffer that much. So, as I said, yeah, all right, maybe we'll see a few of these go below round to about $1 or $2 or something. That's fine. All these barders here, close to the suggested price of $1.80, they'll be picking them up. That'll be fine. And if we do eventually see a collection continuation, sunken garage door, sunken wooden double door, we shall see. That very likely might bump up a bit. But regardless, one more quick look. Sheet metal double doors in general, they still seem to be working out perfectly fine. Even with more being accepted, and of course, you know, a special DLC one. But the main thing that we are noticing is the holiday theme ones tend to be the ones that actually go down in price pretty badly. So, alright, fair enough. We will see what happens in the foreseeable future, because as of now, we've got 3 so far this year, but will there be a lot more? Ooh. But as of now, that is doing a good job retaining its price. So, okay, cool. Reflector Python, bit worried. Pythons in general, not looking to be actually like working out very nicely. Then we saw this one. Was it enough? No, it's gone down in price. So that is very unfortunate, but that was anticipated. But I've got to bring this up. For other Pythons, I will need to mention that the Redemption Python very recently has started to go up in price. It turns out someone on the Rust subreddit only just recently found out that this has the exact same aim sight as the Blackout Python. So suddenly this just got bought out like crazy. Now it's starting to stabilise again. But yeah, people really didn't realise. So maybe it might take a while for people to look at this Python and think, oh, well, hang on a minute, that's actually pretty useful. Maybe that might rebound and go back up in price. We'll see. But again, that aim sight doesn't compare with the Redemption. It doesn't compare with the Blackout. So it's just a little bit of cosmetic decoration, I guess you could say. But hey, we'll see. You know, this is slowly starting to get more and more skins as a collection. So, Mr. Yui, I'm very well aware you've just submitted a Thompson. We've got a SAR. Like, there could be more. Will it be actually accepted? We shall see. But as of now, if it's going to be a weapon-only collection, nothing's going to really help that. Unfortunately, weapon-only collections don't really tend to work out very nicely, no. Then we have the Chomp Crossbow. We've had the primitive update. It came. It's here. People seem to appreciate it to a point, but it's going to have its own issues. Like, are people as satisfied to shoot people with a crossbow compared to an AK? Some people are probably very happy they don't just instantly die, you know, early in a wipe, because some guy just happened to be really lucky and find a Thompson or a revolver very quickly. Anyway, Chomp Crossbow. You're a weird design, but we have to point out that we've actually had another crossbow accepted recently. For the primitive update, we had the Heavy Knight crossbow, which as of now has sold considerably more and is doing a better job of maintaining its price. How unfortunate. this did go below its restore price. But it's not crashing and burning. It was basically matching up to the expectation of, well, you know what, I fully expect that to potentially maybe end up around maybe like $1.30 at its worst. I suggested $1.10 for the buy order, didn't I? So yeah, 80 cents to $1.10 seems like it might slot in around there potentially, but it didn't sell that much. This very likely will be all that we see for a long time. So yeah, the expectation has been met, and yeah, could it ever improve? I'd like to see it happen. But here's the next question: are we going to see that many crossbows this year? Considering that, you know, last year we suddenly got like next to nothing, and when you compare that to the years before that, it is a big significant drop. We used to get quite a lot of them. Now, where are they? Don't know. Alright then, so overall, most of it was expected and matched up perfectly, but I was wrong. I played it too safe for some of these skins. But that could be a matter of considering, as of now, I was wrong. But what are these skins going to look like once we reach a low point, once we reach March and April? You could say that all the time, like, well, shut up. But I was wrong. At least in the short term, not everything was perfect, but overall everything seems to have been reasonable, right? So this is why I always suggest like varying different prices based on like a range. I might sit here and say for a $2.49 skin, $1.20 to $1.80. Well, guess what? There you go. Seems to have worked out reasonably there. Okay, fair enough. All right then, so let's get a sneak peek with the next week's Rush Store, because of course it was a Lunar New Year. Now, there was a lot of submissions for Lunar New Year, and we ended up with a really big Rush Store. And not just skins, it was 3 brand new items as well. So that would be a fun thing to come back to. But there were certain skins that had, well, some people assume they were like some other previous skins we've had in the past, and that didn't really match up the actual same behaviour. Oh no. So is that a bad thing? Oh, you have to wait and see for next week. So yeah, last question then. Did you happen to buy anything with a barter here? Are you happy with the amount that you got? Are you concerned? I'd love to read it. But of course, let's just get through this bad time and let's slowly and graciously enjoy what will be the summer of 2025. We recently had a very nice peak player count for the February Force Wipe, 232,000. Very impressive. We've never had anything close to that in the past with a previous February. In fact, literally the year before it was 153,000. So big, huge jump. But are we actually going to see the average player count drop off that much? Would 90,000 now become the new low point? Because last year, the lowest we had was 76,000. But compare that to like a year or two before, that would have been pretty insane to see. So, all right, fair enough, fair enough. All right then, so that is a wrap. Thank you very much for watching me. I greatly appreciate it. Best of luck with you and your investments. Keep an eye out for those prices dropping down. You will have to consider making moves soon, because they very likely won't be going that much lower. Spend those profits that you got during January, and let's look forward to the summer.